On our last video, we showed you how you could use the Applique Elementz fusible applique and put it on to decorative items such as glass. With this, we used the blow dryer rather than an iron because of the curved shape, but also to illustrate that there are certain items that you won't be able to use an iron with the fusible applique. Sometimes like a nylon bag, a backpack or something, and you can always use the blow dryer to fuse the adhesive material to the item that you're fusing it onto. Today what we're going to do is continue on that theme and show you some more decorative items that I purchased at a local DIY store. These are just blank wood items. I have a wood banner. I have this really nice letter box. Could be used as on the top of your desk for recipes, for love letters. And then I have these two wall hangings. These already have a cord on them and a place for screws to go in. There's two different sizes here. And I think I'm going to try whitewashing the wood before I get down to putting the fusible adhesive on there. The whitewash will just give it a clean appearance, and it will also protect the wood in the long run. So the first step I'm going to do is put down a little drop cloth over my clean new white ironing board and get set up to do just whitewashing on some of the pieces so you can see what that process looks like, and then we'll get on to choosing our applique and fusing it onto our wood. Well, I have my drop cloth on the ironing board, and I've mixed up a little bit of regular white household paint. This could be craft paint, or really any paint that you have. You could but mix water with it just to water it down so it's not a solid thick paint. It's going to be more like a whitewash, and you could use any color that you have used decorating your home if you wanted to pull in those colors, and it's going to be a little bit lighter but still in the same color family. And I'm just using a foam brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and whitewash the inside of these panels. Because this paint is thinned down so much, this is going to dry fairly quickly. And I don't mind if it has some little variances where it's a little bit lighter or darker, because it's just going to give a more moody effect to the background. And I chose the white because I think the design is really going to pop really nicely on there. What I did with the paint, I mixed it at least 50-50 with water to thin it down, but you can play with that and see what consistency you like and where your paint's at to begin with. But you can see I'm leaving enough wood grain on there that you can still see the knot in the wood. And this is going to dry so fast. Probably by the time I get finished with the three pieces that I'm going to do, the first one will be dry. May take a little longer because it's damp and cold here. I also have my gobble gobble apron on today because, well, we are getting close to Thanksgiving for starters, and I don't want to get paint on one of my beautiful long sleeve shirts that I bought for $4 at Walmart. Just that fast, we have a whitewashed board. Now I'm going to do this one as well. This one's got a little bit deeper ledge, and what I'm going to do, I've chosen the Love Bug, Love Bust series, so I'm going to use those inside these and make wall hangings. And the nice thing after I get this dried is that this project is like well on its way to being finished. The fusible applique has all been pre-fused with Steam-A-Seam 2, and also it's laser cut out. So whatever you see on the front of the pattern, you'll get the same fabric inside. It's all been laser cut to shape, and all you have to do is peel the paper backing off, put it into position. It is repositionable because it's Steam-A-Seam 2, so if you put it down in the wrong place, you can just pick it up and move it again. And then when you're ready to make it permanent, we'll just fuse it with the blow dryer or with the iron, whichever is most convenient, and we'll have fused the design just that quick. So I'm going to go ahead and finish painting these up. I won't torture you with watching my brush strokes, but we'll get these painted and we'll move on to the next step, which is positioning the background pieces so we can see where the applique is going to go, and then we'll go ahead and start getting peeling and placing them in position. I've got all of my boxes whitewashed, as you can see. It didn't take very long for them to dry at all, and these particular appliques are just resting on there. This one I've already gone ahead and fused. This I had two choices that I was going to use today. I was either going to use the Love Bug series or the Love Bus, and I liked the way the bus filled the squares better, so I went ahead and chose those. On the particular one here, it's a side view. I already have the Love Bus inside the square and I have it fused in place. On this one, I have the pieces, the components ready to put on, but I haven't fused them yet. You can see the whitewashing doesn't really dramatically change the effect of the box. It just brightens the wood up just a little bit, and the appliques really pop on there. So I'm just going to place this here. What I want are these tires to be all the way at the bottom of the little square, but I'm just going to center this here and use the design to get these more or less in place. And the whole point of these laser applique, they're laser cut out. The fabric is pre-chosen, so you get whatever you see inside this box here. The fabric is the same. They're pre-fused with Steam-A-Seam 2, so they'll have a paper backing, and you just peel that paper backing off and position these in place. Now these are repositionable. That's one of the great things about Steam-A-Seam 2. So if you get it someplace and you don't feel it's quite right, you know, it does stick, but you can go ahead and peel it off and put it where it needs to go. Now I went ahead and pre-fused some of these component pieces by using the diagram, and it makes it easier to get some of these pieces fused down if you're doing it in a big piece. So all I have to do is peel the paper off of this one large chunk in the background and get it positioned over the tires. Now I have my two rear view mirrors. I'll go ahead and get those on. And you can see how quickly this could go together. It would make a really nice gift for the holidays. And I think this year, more than ever, a handmade gift is going to be really special for somebody. These could be hung in a children's room, could be hung in a craft room. They'd be a great teacher's gift to hang at school. And you know, it'd be great to get friends together. Oop, I dropped my O. Get some friends together and do a few projects together. But this is also something that you could get together on Zoom or some other video format and watch each other as you work, give each other suggestions, input on how things are going. But these make really fast gifts. These boxes just came from a big box craft store, very inexpensive. And these appliques in the individual packages are fairly inexpensive also. Right now, when this is filmed, this particular piece is $8.95 for all of the components of that. So you can see it would make a very inexpensive gift, and it's a lot of fun. And even children could do this. If you have trouble getting a piece of paper off of the back, you can always score the paper with a needle or a seam ripper, and that perforation will allow you to bend the piece and go ahead and get it removed. Now after I get this down, I'm just going to go ahead and fuse this. I'm a little less concerned on steaming this because this is never going to get washed. It's never going to get heavy use. It's only going to hang on the wall. So if the fusible isn't absolutely 100% bonded the way we would with fabric, it's not going to be an issue at all. And you can see just how fast that goes together. And it's not going to stand up for me, but so we have these finished. My last one is going to take me a few minutes to get prepared, so I won't make you watch all of that. But I'm going to use this radiance block on top of this beautiful box. I think this would make a really nice gift for somebody for their office, for letters, for recipes. It's just a really elegant box. So we do have this whitewashed, and I've cut the pattern out, and you can see that the pattern is going to overlap the top of this a little bit, which I wouldn't necessarily want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace some of the major components onto the board, and I'm just going to use some Clover tracing paper. I'll put the tracing paper underneath it, and I will do a couple of the major elements and draw them in just a little bit closer because we're not far off. But after I get those traced on, I know where to scrunch a few pieces in, and I'm going to get all of this to fit on the top of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and get that traced, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then we can go ahead and get these pieces. Okay, I've taken my stylus and I have my colored carbon paper, and I've traced out just a couple elements of the design onto the top of the box, just so I can know where the main pieces go, so I can fudge them in just a little bit. I didn't need to draw out the whole thing because once I get these three main swirls in, I know where everything else will fit. So I don't need the carbon paper now, and I'm just going to move the design off to the side. I know it's very faint, but I didn't need a heavy line on here to get my placement right, and I don't need to worry about it coming off later either. So again, I'm just going to peel the paper off of the back of these laser cut and pre-fused components, and this first one is going to be my tricky one because I need it to basically be the compass for all of the other pieces. Now this is upside down for you, but it's right side up for me, so I'm going to just go ahead and put these pieces in. But what I want to do is make sure that I'm positioning them so that I'm condensing the design ever so slightly so that everything is going to fit on the box. And the nice thing about these pieces are that they will stay in place just with the heat of my hand. And I can go ahead and continue placing these. That one's very close to the edge, but I think it's going to work. And then I just have some little plumes to put in. Those may be backwards, but I'm going to leave them for the time being. This is another piece that has to be brought in just a little bit so that I can get it on top of the box. And then we can go ahead and position these little flowers. I'm pretty sure I've got those backwards. But again, this is what's nice about being able to reposition these. When you have someone like me who cannot follow instructions, then it's important to be able to reposition. Now, as you can see, I've already peeled off the paper backing on all of these pieces just to make the video go just a little bit quicker, because otherwise I'm pretty sure you would all abandon me, and I couldn't blame you for that. Now I'm going to put this one here just for the color contrast. Even though these are the same shape, these two are the same fabric and I don't want them up against each other. So I'll go ahead and put this one down here, which will give us a little better color variance. Yes, this is coming along pretty good. I'm watching the edge here and putting that piece in. I think I can curl it a little bit more towards the center. Too much. There. Now I'm happy with that. And we're getting down to just some very small pieces here. This is not where that dot originally went. It went here. I'm just going to reposition that one. And it's nice when you can fudge just a little bit to get the final product that you want. These little flower petals, I'm trying to line up the very tip, and I'm pretty sure that I have those out of order, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that. And we have another dot that goes here, and let's see if we have room. We may be running out of room. Let's see if I can switch this at all closer. but I may decide just to leave that this one petal out. I'm not sure. Maybe the leaf is what I'll leave out. Again, I'm lining up the very small points, trying to condense those as much as possible. I really tightened up that flower. It's a little bit tight here, so I'm going to go ahead and reposition this whole section. Remove my dot for the time being. Okay, I've got my flower in, I've got this flower in. The only thing I had to take out was that leaf, but now I may see if I can move this whole section down and put my leaf back. This is not exactly where it was on the diagram. I'm going to cover up all my points there. And I had there. Okay, so I think that's about as close as I'm going to get to the original design. Everything is on the top of the board. I have it all is just temporarily put in place. All of this could be repositioned still if I needed to, but I think I'm pretty happy with the final result. It's fairly close to where everything was. The nice thing I like about this radiant block is that this is a much more sophisticated design than some of the novelty patterns, and so it gives you a different audience that you could present this to, or different decor where you could place this. Now you could use a ironing pressing cloth on top of this just to make sure that you didn't damage any of the wood or the applique, but I don't need to fuse that this long to worry about damaging anything, and I'm not going to use steam either because I don't think that's going to be necessary for this type of project. If you wanted to, you could put a coating on top of this of polyurethane if you wanted to protect it, but I think I'm very happy with the way that this is now. The pieces are not going to come up, and it makes a really beautiful presentation box for whatever you might want to put inside it. So we want to thank you for stopping by today, and we look forward to seeing you all again.